What's up everybody, Chef Glenn B and I'm back in the kitchen, and today I'm doing things a little bit different. You know, normally I actually pick a recipe and find a bottle of wine to go with that particular recipe. Today I'm flipping that. I'm starting with the wine. When you're into wine, sometimes you come across a special bottle that you actually have to, that it actually becomes the center of attention for a meal, and you have to say, you know, what am I actually gonna pair with this wine? What food? I mean, and you find yourself going through, you know, 4 or 5 different choices until you come up with something. That's this wine. For me today, that's the 2012 Scarecrow. So as I mentioned, I've chosen the 2012 Scarecrow. This is an absolutely legendary wine. So wine comes from the estate where the original owner of the estate was the production chief at MGM Studios and was responsible for a number of movies, but where the tie comes in, he was one of the producers responsible for The Wizard of Oz. And so this wine is named after the Scarecrow. The winemaker for this wine is Celia Welch. She's a legend in her own right. And this is special for me because I have yet to taste any Scarecrow wine. So this is gonna be a first for me today. I'm sharing this with you guys. So I've chosen to pair with my 2012 Scarecrow today a Wagyu Tomahawk. Let me explain to you a little bit about what Wagyu is. Wagyu is a Japanese cattle breed that is bred for the higher marbling content. The higher marbling content creates a tender, fatty, rich steak. Japanese Wagyu is typically served in small portions, such as in yakiniku. Japanese Wagyu is purebred 100% Japanese Wagyu, whereas American Wagyu is crossbred. With the American Wagyu, you get the high marbling content, but it's not quite as high as the Japanese Wagyu. The American Wagyu is a combination of the tenderness and juiciness from the Japanese Wagyu with the flavor and the mouthfeel American beef is known for. So this is my Wagyu Tomahawk. This is a 3-pound steak. This bone was actually 2 inches longer. I had to saw this bone off, but this is what I'm working with today. It's a beautiful steak. Got my steak here. I've got the oven preheated to 225 degrees, and I'm gonna salt this steak, and I'm gonna stick it on this wire rack I have here on my sheet pan, and I'm gonna generously salt this. Don't be afraid. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna reverse sear this steak. That's the process that we're gonna use. All right, so let me explain a little bit about that. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put this in the oven and I'm gonna slow roast this steak to bring it to the temperature that you would normally order your steak at. And for me, that's gonna be medium rare. So I'm gonna slow roast this steak and I'm gonna bring this steak to 120 degrees. I'm gonna stick it in the oven. I'm gonna check it at about 30 in about 30 minutes. To make sure that we're okay. This process normally takes 45 minutes to an hour or so. But again, I'm gonna stick it in the oven, slow roast it. At 30 minutes, I'm gonna check it with my thermometer, and I recommend using a digital thermometer to get a good quick read. And we're gonna make sure that we are, you know, on the way to our target. And for me, it's gonna be 120 degrees. I'm gonna pull the steak out and we'll talk then. Okay, so my steak, I've taken it out of the oven, and I know I mentioned that I was gonna cook it to 120 degrees. I made an executive decision, and I cooked it to 125 degrees, medium rare plus. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this steak, put it on this cutting board, I'm gonna loosely tint it with aluminum foil, and I'm gonna allow it to rest for about 15 minutes. Okay, so the steak is rested for 15 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and pull my foil off. My pan is rocket hot. Let me tell you, I had this pan sitting in the oven at 450 degrees for quite a little while. So in actuality, what I did, I put it on the stove first and let it get really good and hot. And when I pulled my steak out, I stuck the pan in the oven at 450. So it's screaming hot. And I'm gonna sear the steak. This isn't gonna take long. So now generally, once I would get this steak done and ready to go, I would take it out of the pan, sit it on the cutting board, and I would need to allow it to rest before I would serve it. Well, we've already allowed it to rest. Remember that? We tinted it and we let it set on the cutting board for 15 minutes, so the resting part is done. When we're done searing this, it's time to eat. Okay, so everything's done. I'm ready to pair. Let's taste the wine first. I'm super excited about this because, as I mentioned to you earlier, I have yet to taste a Scarecrow wine. So this is my first. And immediately I can see the age in the glass. The wine is aged beautifully. It's beginning to develop a bit of a orange tint to the edge, to the rim of the wine, which lets me know that it's a little older. It's a 2012. Wow. Getting blackberries on the nose. Very floral still, even after all of this time. Oh, and I smell no alcohol. I mean, so it's not rough on around the edges. Just so smooth, for a lack of a better way to say it. Let's give it a taste. Immediately I noticed the viscosity. I noticed that over time and I know it probably did at the beginning, but it's developed such a mouthfeel. It's full body, for sure, no questions about it. Still vibrant with fruit, the raspberries, and the tannins are still present, although I believe they've mellowed a bit, but tannins are still there. I'm ready to try this meat. Okay. Wow. Wow. I've never tasted beef like this before. This is delicious. Once again. That is fantastic. Wow. I'm speechless. Perfection to the pairing. Oh man. That's perfect. This is an experience for me. We're gonna go in one more time just to make sure I wasn't wrong. Let's pull that off of there. Wow. That is good. Absolutely. If you can get a hold of a Wagyu steak anytime soon, you should give it a try. The pairing is perfect. It was an absolutely hell of an experience. I appreciate you all taking the time to watch my video today. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so and hit the like button. It really helps the channel. In addition to that, if you would, drop me a comment. I'd appreciate it. Until next time, eat well.